All right. Well, welcome everyone to our Tuesday, April 4th meeting. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Dodge?
Here.
Commissioner Rice?
Here.
Commissioner Lieberman?
Here. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We had on the calendar, or on the agenda, to talk about Arab American Heritage Month. However, the people that were supposed to come had a conflict and they couldn't make it. So we will recognize that. We do have a proclamation that we've done, and maybe they'll be here next week.
Yeah.
So we will move on to our county engineer.
Thank you, Commissioner. 3 resolutions today. Resolution 458, set the dates of April 25th, 2023 for the viewing and May 9th, 2023 for the hearing on the 2023 ADA Ramp Improvement Program, Miami Township. Authorize the 100% release of the maintenance and or cash sidewalk bond provided by Divided Bridge Associates Limited. Resolution 459, Washington Trace, Section 12, in the amount of $87,597.97. Resolution 460, Washington Trace, Section 13, in the amount of $16,827.36.
Move to approve. I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Probate court.
Thank you, Commissioners. Under Probate Court, Resolution 0461, authorizing a renewal option with Tibera Development Group, Inc. for software and services to extend the existing e-filing system in an amount not to exceed $44,000 through August 30th, 2023.
I move to approve.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. County administrator.
Thank you, Commissioners. Under the County Administrator Clerk's Office, approve the minutes of the meeting March 28th, 2023. We also have 0462, approval of bills, list available in the Clerk's Office. 0463, approval of travel and expenses. And 0464, approval of personal actions, all lists available in the Clerk's Office.
Move to approve. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Administrative services, Tyler.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. We have several resolutions for you today, beginning with 465. This resolution authorizes the purchase from Farber Specialty Vehicles for a hazmat vehicle to be used by the Miami Valley Fire EMS Alliance, doing business as the Dayton Regional Hazardous Materials Response Team, also known as hazmat, in an amount not to exceed $383,838. Resolution 466 rejects the proposal for a license plate reader database coordinator for the Risk, Safety, and Emergency Management Department and to re-advertise. 467 authorizes the purchase of 2023 Ford Transit wagons from Geo Buyers Ford for the Sheriff's Office in an amount not to exceed $100,648. 468 amends the agreement with Community Insurance Company, doing business as Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield, for stop-loss insurance for the self-funded Montgomery County Health Plan by adding $168,502 to the original amount for a revised total cost not to exceed $1.3 million through December 31st of 2023. The following 4 resolutions authorize change orders. Beginning with 469 with Broomball Construction Incorporated, general contractor for the Municipal Courts Trotwood new building project, by increasing the original amount by $29,506 for a revised total of $6,526,872.50. Resolution 470 is with Triton Construction Incorporated for the Madison Lakes renovation project, by adding $40,924 to the original amount for a revised total of $501,924, and extending the date through June 30th of 2023. 471 is with Justice AV Solutions for the Municipal Courts Trotwood location project, by increasing the original amount by $1,572.50 for a revised total of $147,821.85. And finally today, the last resolution today is 472 with American Structure Point for the purchase of elevated walkways for the Risk, Safety, Emergency Management Department, by increasing the original amount by $30,000 for a revised total of $180,000. And that's for review and assessment of our elevator walkways across the county.
I move for approval.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Environmental Services, Matt.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. For Environmental Service, we have Resolution 473, amend the agreement with GPD Group for consulting services for construction of the Stop 8 lift station and force main replacement project by extending the term through January 31st, 2024. Resolution 474, release 100% of the cash surety and subdividers contract with 741 developers for the exchange at Spring Valley Senior Living Center. Resolution 475, accept the official check for the Flying Aces Kettering Development in the amount of $5,669.80. And the final two are to authorize agreements for consulting services for the preparation of detailed construction plans and supplemental specifications. First is Resolution 476 with Strand Associates, Inc. for the Falmouth and Esmeralda Water Main Replacement Project at a cost not to exceed $95,000 through August 27th, 2025. And the final one is Resolution 477 with GPD Group for the Cedar Lawn Water Main Replacement Project at a cost not to exceed $63,740 through October 1st, 2025.
Move to approve. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Human Services, Jerry.
Yes, good afternoon. Under Human Services Plan and Development, we have Resolution 478, which is to authorize an interagency agreement on behalf of the Family and Children First Council for the transition from Early Intervention Services, Part C, to Preschool Special Education Programs, Part B, and other appropriate services. Under Job and Family Services, we have Resolution 479, which is to advertise for a public comment period for the proposed fiscal year 2024 through 25 Title 20 plan effective October 1st of 2023 through September 30th of 2025. And we'll have a session for the Title 20 plan on April the 18th at 10 o'clock via Teams. And that information is on our website under Job and Family Services.
I move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Under County Commissioners, we have 23-480, which is to appoint Dr. Kathleen Cleary to work for the Workforce Investment Board to fill an unexpired term ending June 30th of 2024.
Move to approve. I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And now we will move to a hearing.
All those planning to testify, can you please stand and raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
So help me God. Yes.
Great. All right, take it away.
Thank you very much, Commissioners. My name is Joseph Duro. I work with the Montgomery County Engineer's Office. I've been sworn in. This is the public hearing for the Social Railroad Phase 1-2 project. This project is located down in Washington Township, Centerville area. It stretches from the west limit at Waterbury Ridge Lane, adjacent to Yankee Trace Golf Course, and heads east to a total length of 4,600 feet through the intersection of Paragon Road, through the intersection of Sheehan Road, to a distance about 1,400 feet east of Sheehan. It's Phase 1 and 2. Some history. Originally, based on the amount of funding available for construction phases, we had broken this project into two separate construction projects. Due to federal funding being available, we were able to recombine these into one construction project, but due to requirements from the Ohio Department of Transportation, we still keep the Phase 1, Phase 2 name in there for history's sake and for tracking the project through. So though you'll hear two-phase in the name, it is one construction project. What that does too is reduce the impact to the traveling public because we were able to reduce construction out there, which would have been stretched out over 3 years down to just over 2 years. So looking at the general location of the project, again, Waterbury Ridge Lane on the left is the western limit of the job. You see single-family unit homes. On the bottom of the screen to the right is Robert Mays Park, a big empty field in the top above Social Railroad. That's actually a church property currently undeveloped. Moving to the east of Paragon Road, on the south between Paragon and Sheehan is another church property. To the north of Social Row Road, between Paragon and Sheehan, is the Senior Center Randall residence. And then moving to the right or east of Sheehan, south side is an agricultural field owned by a developer. And then to the north, in addition to a single-family unit home, are agricultural fields owned by Washington Township and the City of Centerville Board of Education. The scope of this project is to take the stretch of Social Row Road and widen it from 2 lanes, county-style ditches, to a 5-lane closed storm sewer system, bike path on one side, sidewalk on the other. We will be reconstructing, replacing the existing traffic signal at Sheehan and Social Row Road, as well as installing a new traffic signal at Social Row Road and Paragon Road. What's important to know is under current traffic conditions, the unsignalized intersection of Paragon and Social Row Road does warrant a traffic signal now, does show the need for left turn lanes at all 4 approaches, though it only has a left turn lane on 1 approach. Sheehan Road still warrants a traffic signal under current conditions, does need left turn lanes on the Sheehan approach, though it does have it on Social Row Road. Also, the Social Row itself, with current traffic volumes, starts breaking down with capacity, especially when you start looking at the design year for this project. Design year is about 20 years out from construction. So construction starts in 2025. So based on traffic projection in 2045, capacity through these intersections, through this section of Social Row Road, starts breaking down. So these improvements address the existing congestion issue, lack of capacity, and addresses future problems through this corridor. Now, obviously, with that type of widening, we try to minimize impacts along the corridor. We looked at various options, from relocating the road slightly to keeping to the same alignment. We found that, when I say the same alignment, I mean the middle of the road from existing to the proposed. And what we found is that keeping the proposed middle of the road the same as the existing middle of the road, the crown of the road, what is now the double yellow line, the same, better distributes impacts along the properties, so we do not disproportionately impact one versus the other. With that, however, as we'll show, though we are taking approximately about 20 feet on either side, north and south of the road, for perpetual highway easement, that will ultimately affect one single-family unit home. And that is simply due to the fact of how close that structure is to the existing house, to the existing road. So, again, I walked through these scopes already, the widening from 4 to 5, the traffic signals, the shared use path, the bike facility, and the sidewalk. We did even look at how, in regards to minimizing impacts, do we keep a shared use path, the bike path on one side of the street versus the other? We are going to transition. There's an existing path along the Yankee Trace frontage. We're going to extend that to Paragon and then cross to the south side so it ties into existing bike path facilities. Sidewalk will come from the Waterbury Ridge, the south side, over to Robert Mays Park, where we use existing facilities, and then it crosses to the north side, runs along the north side of Social Row Road between Paragon and Sheehan Road. Again, about 4,600 feet, 29 parcels that we will cross with regards to this project. Ultimately needing a little over 2 acres of perpetual easement, about 3.45 acres of temporary, with a 0.06 acres of utility easement and 0.264 acres of sanitary sewer easements. I'm going to go through some photos here showing the frontages, explaining what type of easements we would need from the various parcels. I'm going to start at the western limit of the project at Waterbury Ridge, walk the south side heading eastbound. When I get to the eastern limit, I'm going to turn, go to the north side of the road and walk back west. With the viewing as of last week, we've gone through a lot of the details. So again, I'm just going to basically identify the parcel owner and what we need. So parcel 6 is the Mondock. We don't need any right-of-way from here. There's some water line work that is within an existing utility easement. Moving eastward, we have the parcel 7, Serpani parcel. We will need perpetual and temporary for the widening of the road and the grading of the front yard into the new facility. This is another shot of the Serpani parcel. Moving to parcel 8, I apologize, I'm not going to say that right. But widening of the road and grading is why we will need some perpetual and temporary easements. This photo, what I've done is I've come to the extreme eastern limit of parcel 8 or the eastern limit of the Robert Mays Park parcel, and I look back west, and you can just see with a widened section of Social Road west of Waterbury Ridge, how much further south that goes and how close that gets to the parcel. So you can start seeing how tight this corridor gets, especially in the curved section of the project. So turning back, looking east along, this is actually the Washington Township Trails parcel, which is between the road and the park itself. Perpetual and temporary right-of-ways needed for the widened road and grading. Again, just looking at the Washington Township Trails parcel. Now I'm looking along the parcel 22, Epiphany Lutheran Church. We would need perpetual highway easement at the corners of Paragon Road and Sheehan Road with the new traffic signals with the widened road, instead of having what is basically almost 90-degree angles between the existing right-of-ways. We're chamfering the right-of-ways to fit those larger facilities. But between the two intersections, it'll just be temporary for grading the new facilities into the existing ground. Again, this is Epiphany Lutheran Church. This is their frontage along Sheehan Road. That existing curb line south of the intersection will save as much as we can. So there's this driveway is really not going to be impacted as part of the project. Looking on the east side of Sheehan Road, this is parcel 28, the brown parcel. Just temporary from this parcel, and that is to push a ditch a little further away from the road in advance of the widened section of Sheehan Road. This is parcel 24, Divided Ridge. This is a large parcel in the southeast corner of Sheehan and Social Row Road. We will need perpetual and temporary right-of-way. The perpetual is only at the corner of Sheehan and Social Row Road, again, for the wider facilities and the new traffic signal to chamfer those right-of-ways to fit those new facilities. Temporary is for regrading the area to tie into the proposed facility. So this is now along Social Row Road, looking to the eastern limit. This is at the eastern limit, looking back west along the south side of Social Row. Now I've crossed over to the north side of the road. I am looking east at our eastern limit. This is parcel 29, which is owned by the Board of Education, the city of Centerville. We don't need anything from that particular parcel. Parcel 27, again, I'm looking eastbound. This is one of the two parcels owned by Washington Township. We don't need any additional right-of-way or perpetual from this. But what would be happening in this area is within the existing right-of-way, we're starting to widen the road and regrade the area. Now I'm looking west at the intersection of Sheehan and Social Row Road. This is the other parcel of owned by Washington Township. Temporary right-of-way is needed. There's adequate existing to fit that widened facility, but the temporary is needed for the grading to tie everything in. Turning the corner, going up on Sheehan, I'm looking on the east side of Sheehan Road. This is the parcel 26, the Lovett parcel. Only temporary is necessary for this parcel, and that is to work on that ditch line to push it over. With Sheehan Road, you can see in that right side of the photo, there's no turn lanes. That's why there's a little bit of widening, and then tying everything in is why we need the temporary, that grading. West side of Sheehan Road, parcel 28, a Port Authority. This has some of the Randall residence facilities on it. Perpetual and temporary is needed. That's predominantly at the corner of Sheehan and Social Row Road, again, due to the widened facilities and getting the temporary for grading things in. Starting to look along Social Row Road, parcel 20 is the Centerville Community Improvement. Perpetual, sewer, and temporary. The perpetuals for the widened road, temporaries for grading. The sewer is because they have an existing hike trail there. As you can see, we can't utilize that for use of the public because it goes onto the private property. That's why between Sheehan and Paragon, we will have a public sidewalk installed. But between that public sidewalk and their existing facility, we can trap water due to grading, so we got to put storm systems in there to catch that water and drain it away, hence why we have a sewer. Looking back at that Centerville community improvement, I'm at Paragon, looking eastbound. Again, that's the perpetual, the sewer, and the temporaries. On Paragon Road, at our northern limit looking south, this is, there's a bit of a parcel owned by the Randall residence itself, perpetual sewer and storm, widen, again, the same elements, the widen facilities, making sure we don't trap water and regrading the new facilities into the existing ground. Going to the west side of Paragon Road, it's parcel 18, the Martin parcel. It's a very small corner. In fact, it's basically from that stop ahead sign to the foreground, to this creek culvert, concrete structure you can see. It's just for regrading a ditch, tying it back into the, into that creek where it drains into. Parcel 17 is the Paragon developers. It is actually a unimproved parcel in that grass area you see in the foreground. The house you see is on an additional parcel that we'll talk about in a moment. We need additional perpetual and temporary for widening Paragon Road to provide that left turn lane, as well as the temporary is for grading things into the surrounding land. This is the corner parcel at Paragon, at the northwest corner of Paragon and Social Row Road. This is the Gulshan properties, perpetual and temporary, widening the facilities, going to those 5 lanes and the 3 lane on Paragon, and the temporary for grading things back into the existing ground. Moving west on the north side of Social Row, this is the Saxtetter parcel, parcel 15, perpetual and temporary, widened facilities, grading things in. Parcel 14 is the Huffman. The house sits well off Social Row Road. Obviously, the driveway comes up. So existing will need perpetual and temporary for the same reasons. Widened road, grading things in. This is that vacant lot owned by, it's parcel 13, owned by Real Life Church. Perpetual sewer and temporary. The sewer on this one, so we're putting in a closed storm sewer system along the whole stretch. The stream that was shown on Paragon Road goes along the north side of all these parcels. That's where all the water needs to drain to. So along, what we were proposing is along the west side of the Real Life Foot parcel, we are acquiring a sewer easement to take the new closed storm sewer, all that drainage, and engineer a drainage path through closed storm sewer all the way back to that creek. Currently, right now, we have an existing drainage problem where we have road culverts that dump into ditches, that go into private drainage tile, that get things to the back. And this way, we are able to maintain the facilities and make sure that we don't continue to have drainage problems along this road. Continuing moving west, parcel 19 is the Spittler parcel, perpetual and temporary. Perpetual is the additional the widening of the road. The temporary is in addition to grading. It is also for the taking of this house. The house is, like I said, perpetual wise, it's about 20 feet on both sides of the road. The house actually is going to be so close that we'd be grading and having facilities impacting the porch, and because of that, it became a total take on the house. They sit on about 4.8 acres. They'll keep the remnant parcel itself. But from this photo, standing on an existing bike path along the Yankee Trace golf course, looking east, you can see the proximity of the house to the existing road. And like I said, we looked at, did we have to go to a 5-lane? The answer was still yes, based on the volume of traffic. Could we neck it down to a 4-lane section? The answer was no. We were going to have issues with left turning elements. Could we push the road further south to try to avoid it? We would actually create greater impacts. We'd be getting into the Robert Mays Park. We'd be impacting detention basin, which require detention basin on the north side. We would be overly impacting parcels on the south side. So we looked at, could we put the bike path on the south side, sidewalk on the north side to get past the house? We kept impacting, or we overly burdened others. So unfortunately, came to the conclusion, keep the road where it is, widen it, keep the path on the north side, and the house will need to be taken.
So Chad, do
Yes.
people live in that house right now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. And we've been in contact with multiple property owners, specifically the Spillers.
Okay.
Finally, parcel 1, that's the Yankee Trace Golf Course. It's owned by the city of Centerville. The path's already there. We need temporary just to tie the new facilities in to the existing. So project costs, design's about $1.3 million. One thing we'll see is we'll actually see a little bit of cost saving on that. Like I said, we're recombining the projects from 2 construction phases to 1 construction project. And so we're working with our consultant in consolidating that. Should help out with that. Construction estimated for the total is about $8.8 million. All the easements the cost for those will be determined by a real estate appraiser that we'll hire at a later time. We have received a federal grant for the construction of roughly about $4.5 million. And later this year, we will also be going after additional funding from the Ohio Public Works Commission. So we are starting the right-of-way portion of this project. It'll go till February 2025. The reason for such a long period of time is specifically because of the house. We want to make sure that we give plenty of time and opportunity and explanation of what can be expected and what their options are, and give them as much time to be able to make decisions as possible. All other citizens, like we do on all of our projects, we will give them as much time and opportunity as possible. Utility relocations would then start in February 25, complete by middle of July 25, with construction starting in July 25, going through 2026. To do some of this, while Social Row Road will be kept open to traffic at all times, it will be 2-lane, 2-way traffic, we'll build the project in phases, shift everybody to north on temporary, build the south half, flip, build the north half while everyone's on the new widened southern part. To help expedite the process, while we're building the south side, we're going to close the south leg of Paragon Road for about 30 days, and we'll use Sheehan Road as the detour, and then we'll flip it. We'll close Sheehan Road, south leg, for 30 days, we'll use Paragon Road as the detour. Clearly, they cannot be both closed at the same time. Then, when we go to build the north side of Social Row Road, we'll close the north leg of Paragon Road. We'll use Spring Valley and Yankee Street for the detour route. And then we'll switch over to Sheehan Road and we'll use State Route 48 as the detour route. Again, they cannot be closed at the same time. But what that does is allow us to get in, make those improvements to those smaller facilities. Those roads are narrower, so we can get in and get out a lot quicker and get them reopened to traffic. With that, if there are any questions.
No questions. It's a big project, and the
Yeah.
planning looks great so far.
Appreciate that.
And I know driving on that road, it sure will be welcome for the people. And Carolyn lives down that way, and I think it'll be a nice thing for them to have. So, thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, I make a motion to close the public hearing and determine that the project is needed and the safety, convenience, and welfare for the traveling public requires a Social Row Road Phases 1 and 2 project in the city of Centerville and Washington Township, and recognize it is also necessary to facilitate the right of the public to improvement and maintenance of and uninterrupted travel to county roads pursuant to Chapter 5553 of the Ohio Revised Code, and authorize the county engineer to proceed with right-of-way negotiations.
I second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you. Good job, thank you.
Okay, we do have one citizen signed up to speak. Mr. Feaster, why don't you come on up? Oh, it's in the back. There's one of these in the back corner. You can fill it out and then just bring it up to the clerk. Hello, Mr. Feaster.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
You ready? Oh, you click me. Oh, you ain't playing this. You'll knock 5 minutes off me already. Jesus. Ooh, look at that.
You go.
Huh? Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Thank you. Thank you. Willie Feaster. I'm here today to talk about how we are as people when everybody is around. You know, you see the cameras, everybody professional, look good, talk good, but when there's no one around, how are we? How we treat other people when nobody's there to see it. And yesterday, I was talking to Chris Shaw, Commissioner Chris Shaw, and every word came out of his mouth to me was cussing. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a damn about this. Don't call me with that bullshit no goddamn more. I'm like, Commissioner, you know, when you sit over there tomorrow at the city commission meeting, you're going to be so polished. But it's nobody here to hear this but me and you. Now you are so foul, man. But it takes me back to how God deems us. We, as people, we judge each other, how we look, where we live, how we conduct us. But God said, that don't mean nothing to me. I'm going inside that heart is what I look at, the heart. Because the heart is nothing but filthy and evil. That's what the scripture says. He said, man judged from the outside appearance. And when Chris, Commissioner Shaw, yesterday exhibited that, it showed me that. People will never see that side of him. People never get a chance to hear the foul language he said to me. Tomorrow, they're going to get to hear the professional him. They probably would never believe he would cuss at me like that. I don't give a fuck. Don't call me no goddamn more with that bullshit. I don't give a fuck. And hang up the phone. But God sees everything we do. We can never hide from God, no matter who we are. He hears, sees what none of us can see. And that's the good grace about this here. God said in Scripture, there is good in every human being. But he also says there is nothing but evil inside the heart of all people. It's in the Scripture. And what that man exhibits me yesterday, how we as people can get out here and talk so nice to people and act so good to people, but at the same time, in our hearts is so full of evil. And you can use it in so many situations in life. You go all the way back to Memphis. You know, you can go all the way back to Memphis, the Dayton not the Dayton, but the Memphis police officers. You know, you would never think officers would do that. So callous. So I had to say that, man. You know, it touched me that bad. Because I have talked to Chris 1,000 times, but I never seen that. I don't care. Any one of you people can get upset with me. You, Miss Lemmerman. You. But I don't think you'd ever cuss me out like that. Like a dog. Like that on your worstest day.
Well, Billy, you're right about that. Thanks for always sharing with us. Welcome, and Mr. Childs.
Yes.
And if you come on up and just real quickly give us your name, address, and then the 3 minutes will start.
Okay, the address that I gave you is my mother's house.
Okay.
Because I come and go from there.
Okay.
I'm a truck driver, mainly. And I've got basically 3 questions, and I'm going. I heard you guys got grant money to tear down houses. Grant money came in. If somebody asked for some grant money, do they get the grant money, or is there a program where they go to online to see about grant money to tear down the house? And if that's true, do they pay the grant money back if it's federal grant money?
You go right ahead.
The county doesn't have money like that, but the city of Dayton is using ARPA funding. ARPA, I'm guessing that's what you've read in the paper?
Yes.
And that's all through the city of Dayton. And you need to contact the city of Dayton in their planning department. And I don't honestly know their processes, but I know that they've gone through quite a process to decide where they can strategically focus on certain neighborhoods. So I think there's a lot of factors that would play into which properties would qualify. Judy and I are on the Land Bank Board, and the Land Bank Board is helping them in that.
What does the land bank do normally?
The Land Bank Board basically acquires vacant and abandoned property and repurposes it. It can sell it, buy it,
Got it.
all kinds of things.
But if the owner still wanted to keep the property, could the owner still keep the property if the house needed to be torn down? One way or the other?
Those kind of questions, I'm not involved with the actual process, so I
Gotcha.
can't answer it. But you'd be best to go talk to the city of Dayton to find out if there's a specific property that you're looking for, if it's even on, I'm guessing they have a list or neighborhoods where they're focusing their investments.
And you said the organization was?
The Montgomery County Land Bank is a partner organization in helping them to get the job done.
Got it.
So they're basically, City of Dayton's controlling the project, but they're using the land bank to help them administer it.
Got it.
Did
Thank
you have another question about that, though? You said you had a couple, so.
Well, the other question would be if the property owner didn't have enough money to tear the house down, would the property owner have to pay them the grant money back one way or the other? If they're operating with grant money?
Yeah, off the top of my head, I don't think money has to be paid back. But I believe that the whole property has to transfer for it to be torn down. So,
Okay.
but
Transfer to the
oftentimes
people.
though, and I'm just kind of speaking out of turn here, but oftentimes what you see happen is people can go then purchase it back, whether it's through the sheriff's sale or other things. But I think, and I could be wrong, because again, like Carolyn said, I don't know
said
this,
it.
I don't know their
I'm not saying
procedure.
anything.
But I would think that it probably,
don't know.
they would have to transfer the whole thing. So
To
I
get
don't.
it torn down,
Yeah.
to show.
I just highly don't count on either one of us for the
Right.
bottom line on that.
Yeah.
I would definitely look to the city of Dayton and,
Do they have a city commission?
Tomorrow
Well,
they have a meeting.
yes,
But you might want to
but
call them.
I would just go to the
ask.
community development department.
Okay, I'll call them. and-
Todd Kinski is the director if you need a name.
Okay, I'll call Mr. Kinski.
Kinski.
Kinski. and-
K-I-N-S-K-E-Y.
You may not talk to him, but he's the head of the department, Todd Kinski.
And then I'll just go to their.
And they could tell you all about it and answer your questions.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay, comments by county administrator.
Thank you, Commissioner. The county, Montgomery County, continues to move forward with a plan to increase access to affordable, high-speed internet. Last week, our Digital Advisory Committee held community sessions in East and West Dayton and Brookville. These meetings provided us with valuable information to help us learn what areas are most impacted, what resources are working, and what resources are still needed. The pandemic showed how important the internet is to modern life and people's ability to participate in employment opportunities, education, telehealth visits, and more. We are dedicated to closing the digital divide, and these meetings are helping us do so. If you missed one of our community sessions, it's not too late to share your thoughts. You can email your comments and questions to osi@mcohio.org.
Good. Yeah, I heard that they were well-received and being in different parts of the county, I think was good because up in Brookville, they are having issues with accessibility. And of course, as you move south and closer into the city, a lot of the issues are affordability. So I think it was good to hear from everybody.
And then last Thursday, I took part in the groundbreaking for the Homeful Living in West Dayton project. And this new facility will provide residents with health care, housing, job support, and groceries. West Dayton has been a food desert for many years, and with more than 75,000 of our residents struggling with food insecurity across the county, access to healthy and affordable food is needed now more than ever. We are proud to collaborate with Homeful and grateful to have them as a community partner. And it was a wonderful event. so.
It looked like
I'm
it
sorry I
was.
missed it.
Yeah, me too. The investment that's happening on the west side, I think it's great. It's also long overdue.
Yeah.
But to see what Homeful's doing, and I think that
Ms. Patterson's quote was great. This isn't mission creep for Humeful. They're taking the risk, they're putting it all together, and that will be a great catalyst, I think, out there, and really transformative for that part of West Dayton. So, yeah, I'm really thankful that we're able to be a partner on that as we move, for other great things that are happening out in that area. So this month is National County Government Month, and I know everybody's pretty excited about that. Yes. So what's really interesting, and I don't know how many people know this, of course we all do, counties are the oldest form of government, and that dates back to 1634, when the first county government started, and they were actually called shires. For you Lord of the Ring fans, that's kind of interesting. So they were shires, and they were established in Virginia. Today in the United States, we have 3,069 county governments. And some counties are as small as 9,000 people, believe it or not. And sometimes when we share with them when we're at national conferences, it's kind of difficult because you're like, well, that's like the size of one of our villages.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is it Benton County?
Benton County is very small in Ohio.
12,000?
12,000,
In
yeah.
Ohio?
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
that's the smallest Ohio.
Into, large, huge counties that we have of millions and millions of people. But county governments are chartered under state governments, under their constitutions, and it seems like each of our 50 states has a different way of dealing with counties and their local governments. But in a way, that's a good thing, because counties are tailored to fit the needs of states and local areas. So every week this month, we're going to feature and highlight something that Montgomery County does. And this week, we are highlighting justice and public safety. And so you can go to our social media pages, to our website, and look at the things that we're talking about and real proud of, that we do well with in our justice and public safety areas. So that's on our webpage and our social media pages that I know everybody follows.
Well, in addition to National County Government Month, it is also National Child Abuse and Neglect Prevention Month. And so I am here just to remind everyone, if you see something, say something. A report is not an accusation, but a request for someone to look into an area of concern. So please, if you see something, say something. Montgomery County residents can call 937-224-KIDS or 937-224-5437 to report suspected abuse or neglect, and it's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And all calls are kept confidential by law, and you can remain anonymous. And I'd also like to take this first opportunity to thank all of our child welfare caseworkers. They have one very difficult but very, very important job, and I know they work so hard to protect our children so that they will have a better, brighter future. So on behalf of all of us, Jerry, I know you probably see them more frequently. Mm-hmm. Be sure they know how much they're appreciated by all of us for all they do every day of the year. And we actually get over 1,000 calls a month to our intake at Children's Services. And the bottom line is it truly does take everyone to do this. So please keep a watchful eye out for our children, and working together, we can make sure that they're safe and have a brighter future.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And as we recognize that this month, I've already seen throughout the county, actually, blue pinwheels.
Yeah.
Businesses and other organizations. And so when you see those blue pinwheels, it's just to recognize and to remember that it is Child Abuse Awareness Month. I think we have some pinwheels up at Children's Services, don't we? Mm-hmm. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Where are they? Okay. Yeah, and
Oh,
I
okay.
saw some down south yesterday, the
Yeah,
southern part
I
of the
did
county,
too.
so, yeah, that's
Yeah,
great,
yeah.
yeah. Okay, so our next meeting is next Tuesday, April the 11th, but, and Mr. Feaster left before we could tell him this, it's going to be at the Dayton Metro Library Northwest Branch, which is 2410 Philadelphia Drive. And the Northwest Branch of the library is a beautiful location. One of the things that commissioners decided to do this year was to take our, as we like to call it, our show on the road. And so we will be at different locations throughout the year. And I think we're going to try to focus on the libraries, all of our off-site meetings. But it will be at 1:30 next Tuesday at the Dayton Metro Library.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.